Hi, um, I am Ladislav. I am from API and I can talk about Docker and Elastic Beanstalk. Do you know Elastic Beanstalk? Anyone? One? Nice. Uh, okay. Uh, who I am? I am SRE in API. I am organizer Prague.js meetups and Ruby and Node.js developer. And I can talk something about Amazon Web Services. Do you know how many regions have no Amazon Web Services? Try it. Yes. Ah, 10. Yeah. Amazon Web Services is quite big. There are no in maybe you can skip Europe Union Center that in Frankfurt that was the 10th. We have two in Europe, Ireland and Frankfurt, and uh, we, always US is first of region. Amazon have 10 regions now and some edge locations is 52 uh, and every region using Amazon available zones. That concept can you split your application into parts, use auto scaling feature, and if you have Amazon EC2 instance, you can split it into more zones, and if some zone failed, you are automatically switched by load balancer to another zone. That's its cool feature that available zone have very low ping, about 2 or 5 milliseconds, and that is quite useful if you can have auto scaling and more reliable system. And Elastic Beanstalk is platform as service from Amazon Web Services that allow users to create application and push them to definable set of Amazon Web Services, including AC2 instance, Amazon S3. You can use Amazon Simple Notification Service, Amazon CloudWatch, auto scaling, and load balancers. That is quite useful. Uh, and how can you use with Docker? That is very simple. You can have Docker image, as you know. You can publish them to Docker Hub or use own private registry. That is possible too. If you can use Docker private registry, you can modify the Docker config, and you have some configuration file, Docker run file, and that is interpret in Elastic Beanstalk, and you can deploy too many environments. You can have many environments, 10 or what you want. Uh, it's you can use web console, or you can use the command line client that is written in Python. You can install by this command, and all deployment the application is very easy. You can create AB init with parameter Docker, and that create a new configuration for you with this parameter at localhost. And if you create some environment, they create auto-scaling group for you, elastic load balancer, they create monitoring, logs, all things, and at for deploy you can only run AB deploy, and all sources from your local Git repository is pushed to S3 and deploy to platform. Platform can support these all languages. They are PHP, Node.js, EES server, Tomcat, Java, Python, Ruby, and they have some pre-configured Docker images as for Go, Python, or Glassfish, and some generic as Docker and multi-container Docker. I can talk about this Docker. That's why I use for our API private Docker registry. That is Docker 1.5 and Amazon Linux. That Amazon Linux is similar to other Linux prepared for using Docker, but I think it's much more bigger than Core OS or something that, but it's quite good at Amazon. And why I can't use the multi-container Docker is that multi-container Docker have version only 1.3. That is some fail from Amazon. I don't know why is only this old version, but it's quite problematic if you have to use the old versions. How can you configure your application? It's very simple. You can provide docker run.avs.json, and this is some language from Amazon Web Services. You can provide the version. They have two versions. This version 1 is for single containers, and if you have version 2, you can use multiple images, multiple virtual hosts, and all that. But I think that is still in development. You can provide the name of image. This is from public registry, and we using latest registry version 1. Now exists version 2.0, but they have some problems here. You can provide the volumes. Maybe you can ask why if I have here volumes that is empty. That is in deployment scripts they have a bug. If you omit the volumes, there are crashes on this. They use JQ tool for some checking, and if you are not volumes here, that's crashed or deployed. It's quite funny that, and you have to use the expose port here. This is container port key, and I expose 5000 for registry, and I run an Nginx proxy before this, and elastic load balancer before a whole cluster. How it looks if I run from command line. If I run the create Docker environment, you can see all my demo in one slide. That is very easy. You can set up new environment. This is some application name. Region is some deployed version. If you have deployed old version, you can switch to another version. Here you can see version of Docker and time. And what they are doing is creating environment using this S3 bucket to environment data, create load balancer, security group, running autoscaling group, waiting for AC instances, and creating new policy group and new autoscaling group. And after that is a whole application ready, and that is about 10 minutes on deploy. That after that you can see your application in is green. If you have some problem, they are red or gray if you are not deploy any version. And you have this interface. You can see some application version. Here you can download your source code for every application. And here is some dashboard for application. Here you can see version of Docker, running version, monitoring, and last recent events about platform. That was some restart environment here in last. And here you can see all platform configuration. You can see your configuration for scaling, instances. You can see your environment properties here, and application settings for deploying. I have deployed that 30% are deployed to new version. That if is success, you deploy all. But I have minimum version to one instance. That is, and here is load balancing and VPC. That is quite good. If you are compare with Heroku, that don't provide something as VPC or load balancer. You can have automatically set up logs. You can download all logs. You can use command line or this web interface. You can have some monitoring automatically provided by CloudWatch. That is quite useful. You can see CPU, network, request, average latency, all in one monitoring. You can set up the alarms. If is some problem, you can have some alerts. You can see the last changes on platform. You can change severity, and you can browse all changes. And you can see some tag. There are tags creating automatically by platform. That's all from me. If you have some questions about it. Yeah, you can use the same as EC2 platform. You can tag everything. You can save configurations, and you can use some custom tags. That is possible too. It's the same feature as autoscalings group. That its platform is only top of all services what you want if you can use separately. Yeah. That's quite good. I have some source code. I have some source code that if you see structure that is not so good. Here is the file for configuration, and you have here some folder that its name is .ab extensions, and you can override some configuration. And by default, the Beanstalk have Nginx, and you have to override the configuration that I can make Nginx configuration for Docker, and I can make the some basic authentication as here, and I can provide some port listening at 80 port and something that. Uh, yeah. There are, I think in a new version you can use the host port as and container port, but I think this is all in automatically are routed to 80. Yeah, and you can manage by Nginx that is run by default. But you can use this YAML that's similar to cloud config that is all changes what you want on instances are made by these files. That is YAML files that similar to cloud config that. Yeah. Yeah, you can use array and multiple container ports. It's possible, but I don't know if there are some how can you. But this limitation is only in version 1. That in a second version they have multiple, and you can make both ports. In version 2 is Nginx reverse proxy is not here, but in version 1 is by default here, and it's installed on every machine. That it's some. I think that is part of their others provides the PHP on and other services that was some providing that in similar form that for version 1. Yeah, you can use environment properties that. You can read it in Elastic Beanstalk console. Yeah. Is readable. That you have to, and if you have rights to manage cluster, you can read it. That you have AB read environment command, and if you can access to environment, you can see all things. If you can be more secure, you have to use console or etcd and separate security group and use online to pulling data from some service. I think you can use the Amazon key service too. That can be possible to connect. They have some for keys and secures service. It's can be possible to connect. Any questions? No, that's completely on Amazon. Yeah, you cannot update Docker. If you have in a console, you can select the versions if Amazon provides. But yeah, it's ready. Their versions works. That's not problem. I think they have support and their Amazon Linux works. I don't have problem with Docker 1.5 that works quite good. But 1.3.3 that will be problematic. That